So week 3, I lost 1 pound. Okay. Mm, Delmo, according to him, he lost 3 pounds, and Aris lost 2 pounds. There's no official list yet, so I can't tell you exact details about that. But I will update you on that later on. So there's an interesting thing that came up during the 3rd week, because I started forgiving myself for my desire for food. You see, my desire for food. And I thought, who will forgive oneself for having desire for food? Isn't that normal for people to have desire for food? And I thought, hey, you know what? I'm doing this self-forgiveness because there was an information coming from a website. It's www.destiny.co.za, that if we become separate from everything and everyone else, if we identify with the ego of the mind, or us, the ego of the mind, rather than the life force that we are, as one and equal as all life, then we form different emotions and feelings and thoughts out of that separation. That actually we don't need, you see. And rather than having those fears and whatever emotions and stuff, we can just focus on the breath, because that's who we are. Okay, so this is the basis for my self-forgiveness for desire. And when I was doing that, I know that within me there is something that I know I'm doing right. I'm doing there's something in me that knows I am doing something that frees the self, the life force that is actually one and equal as soul life. And for the first time, I thought, oh, I've unlocked the key here. Okay, and so my diet is actually basically the same, but more on fruits and green juices, right? Less cooked food at this point. So I might have been 95% raw on the 3rd week. So let me show you. I have some okay, so I have some belly here. That's the fat. And I learned from what Destiny said, that accumulating information separate from you causes those fats, you see, to be deposited in your body. And of course, there are other information about fat deposits, and usually it's from the point of view that we are separate from the food we eat, as we identified ourselves as the ego of the mind. If I say I'm June, well then I'm separate from you, right? Because you're another individual. Okay, so some of the information out there from this perspective is that we should eat we should eat more protein rather than in just fat, less fat. There's others that says less carbohydrates, okay. And of course, the raw food is that we swear by raw foods, and some people would say, okay, green juice. But it's still, all this makes you realize that they're not coming from a true starting point, which is us being one and equal as all life. Okay, it comes from a point where I am separated from you and from food, because I identify with the ego of the mind as me, as June, and June is of course not you. So we're separate, So it's sort of like we're two separate beings wanting to be one, even though oneness concept is not. Well, here it's something like I forgive myself for the identifications that I make that made me separate from food. And after those self-forgiveness statements, what happens is that those are gone, and so the self shines forth, which is one and equal as all life. So my statements would be, I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to be separate from food, as I have identified myself as the ego of the mind, separate from everything and everyone else, rather than be the life force that I am, as one and equal as all life. Okay, so we'll tell you more about this and the weight loss in the next video. Cool.